Good evening and welcome to the Sun West School Division's public meeting. My name is Randy Emmerson and I'm the Director of Education here in Sun West School Division. The School Division acknowledges that we are on Treaty 6 and Treaty 4 territories. This land that we share has long been home to the Cree, Saulteaux, Nakota, Lakota, Dakota peoples, and the Métis. We, who live on, learn from, and care for this land and water, recognize the ancestors who have walked before us, as well as the generations to come. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation to reaffirm our relationship to one another. We're committed to learning together. The land acknowledgement statement that I've just read was created as a response to the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action. The committee that created this land acknowledgement statement was composed of representatives from each of the following stakeholder groups: students, multiple types of staff, a board member, parents, and a traditional knowledge keeper, Charlotte Ross. The process and the statement have both earned praise from the public and from the ministry of how honorably they captured the spirit of reconciliation. Bringing greetings from the board this evening is Board Chair John Collins.
Thanks, Randy. Good evening, everyone. We really appreciate everyone joining us tonight. As you've heard, my name is John Collins, and I'm from Kenaston. There are so many great things happening around Sun West School Division. It's hard to keep up to it all, but it doesn't just happen by chance. As a division, we are committed to our journey of personalized education for every student. We are committed to helping each of you reach your goals. And we have many things that keep us grounded in this journey, but what's best for kids remains a central focus, as well as a phrase we live by. We also use things like the REORDER framework to bring us back to the important work we need to be doing every day. If you're not familiar with it, ask someone from your school or look for a REORDER poster in it. They shouldn't be hard to find, and they cut to the chase to outline what it's all about. Tonight we're going to give you a recap and then focus a bit on the recognition part of REORDER. We don't always do a good enough job of recognition, and we'll only scratch the surface tonight, but it's an important piece of every organization. As a board, we know there are so many great things and so many of you working hard to achieve what's best for kids. Whether it's our admin staff at central office or our principals looking after our schools, whether it's our teachers, our EAs, and other support staff working with our students, or our janitors looking after our buildings, or our secretaries keeping us all in line. You all play an important role. Our students, SCCs, families, and communities play a tremendous role in our students' education, and the opportunities to involve them are incredible. As you'll see, our facilities people have been hard at work to make our schools better environments for people that are in them every day. Then there's our bus drivers who carefully transport so many of our students every day. We can't forget the tech people and all the others working behind the scenes. We thank all of you. I probably forgot someone or some group, and I apologize for that, but I want everyone to know that the board appreciates the work all of you do. It can be hard work, but it's rewarding work. It can be hard work and it's rewarding work, and our goal is to only be better. We are striving to be innovators, and that means we have to constantly reflect to see if we can improve. That doesn't mean we're not doing a good job. It just means that we can always do better. As we come through COVID, I believe we have a great opportunity to improve on our past and use the things we learned from COVID to come out better and stronger on the other side. From the board, again, I want to thank all of you, and thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you, Board Chair John Collins. Chair Collins alluded to the REORDER framework and the work that's done within the school division as part of our PeBL philosophy. It's important for you to realize that the preparation for tonight's meeting, the ideas, the themes that we thought would be most important for us to address had quite a variety. And yet when we came to it, we thought we've come through a period of time over the last 2 years. In fact, it was this week 2 years ago that we were actually put into that supplemental learning period that we'd all probably like to think about very little, and if we can, possibly even forget. But in the time period since the start of the pandemic, there have been lots of things that have gone on for the good of students and staff. There's been lots of achievements by our students. There's lots of progress that's been made by our staff. And so we wanted to this evening take a look at the REORDER framework again. It's a part of our PeBL philosophy. It's embedded in many facets within the school division. And it was important for us to take a look at that framework of REORDER and have that focus on that recognition, to let people know that we are making progress. We're still moving in the direction that we want to be moving, to make sure that the provincial education plan priorities for this year, which will continue next, those being reading, learning response, and mental health and well-being, continue to be addressed. At this point in time, I'd like to introduce Kelli Boklaschuk. He's the superintendent of schools responsible for curriculum, instruction, and assessment. Kelli will explain for us in a revisited sort of way the REORDER framework and lead us into a few different examples of successes that will be recognized tonight as a part of the REORDER framework. Kelli, it's all yours.
Thanks, and good evening, everybody. Taking a few moments to revisit the REORDER framework and think about how we're embedding this work and developing this culture within our schools as a system. So let me start by just sharing that the REORDER framework is designed to achieve an educational goal. And that educational goal for us is our PeBL philosophy, where we think about personalized learning as a way for students to have voice and choice in their learning. But ultimately, personalized means that students are driving their learning when they're ready. So let's take a moment to just have a peek at our adapted REORDER framework that allows us to have our students reach their fullest potential in learning. So each letter of the REORDER framework is attached to focus areas that we know develops culture in our schools, in our classrooms, and as a school division. The first R is relationships. And we have slogans that we attach to each of these letters that drive our core values around this framework. So for relationships, we talk about the fact that we are all mentors, and everyone watching tonight, you are mentors for all learners in Sun West. The E is for environment. And if you've been in our schools, you've seen we have flexible environments that address all of the unique learning needs of our students. The O is for opportunities. And this is where we think about our curriculum, we think about our learning, and we think about the students having voice and choice. The next R is for resources. And our slogan here is we access people, knowledge, technology, and our skills. And this is where we come together and wrap around our students and ensure they have all of the resources they need to do their best learning. The D is for distribution of leadership, and the fact that we are learners that lead. Everybody in the world is a learner at whatever age they're currently at. And as we provide opportunities to distribute leadership, we can share that learning with each other. The next E is for evaluation, that reflection piece, and the fact that we set goals and measure growth in everything that we do. And finally, as you've heard tonight, we're focusing on the last R of recognition. And this is really important to us because we're honoring growth in who we are and what we learn. And that is recognition throughout everything we do and every success and every challenge that we face on a daily basis. So I'd like to give you a little bit of context and show you how some of the REORDER framework is embedded in our work and our learning in Sun West. So we have some division goals, and I'll ask Mike to pop those up on the screen. You'll see there our goal statements include graduation, early years, engagement. And tonight I'd like to focus on the math, reading, and writing grade 1 to 9 goals. And so they all state basically the same thing. By June 2022, 100% of our students will be meeting or exceeding standards or achieving a personalized goal in reading, writing, or math. And so when we say a personalized goal, I mentioned earlier that personalized really means that students are driving that. In some cases, certainly we're working together with students and even parents to achieve a personalized goal. or sometimes the teacher is going to be developing that goal for the student, depending on what level they're at. And so these goals are really designed to ensure students are at grade level or above. And so when we think about a personalized goal, or a PG, as you may have heard, we can think about students that are catching up or students that are looking to extend or enrich their learning above grade level. And so all of these are wonderful things, but let's think about these personalized goals in terms of the REORDER framework. So we'll move to the next slide there, Mike. So in thinking about personalized goals and each of the letters of REORDER, let's think about personalized goals in terms of relationships. So this means that we're all mentoring each other. And so students that are looking to catch up or extend their learning will be looking for mentorship, either from teachers, their peers, their parents, or potentially experts in the community. In terms of environment, providing those flexible learning environments is key for students to be doing their best learning and achieve their fullest potential. So we look at what's the best place. Is it a quiet place? Is it a place where they need to be able to move around and things like that? And we invite you to go into our schools and see those learning environments that provide flexible spaces for students. Then we think about opportunities, providing that voice and choice. And this comes into play in every facet of the personalized goal process, where we are looking to ensure that students have the opportunity to know what they're working on, have voice in that, and are able to achieve those goals. Next, we look at resources. And in terms of personalized goals, we can look at everything from benchmark assessments, finding out where they're at so that we can help them move to the next level. It might be that they need particular supports from a peer mentor, or maybe they need to use some technology to help learn some different strategies to achieve grade level in reading, writing, and math. In terms of distribution of leadership, this is something we can think about in terms of personalized goals, where we're looking at parents to be leaders in supporting the development and growth towards personalized goal achievement. Certainly evaluation. This is something that is really important with PGs. We're always reflecting on our progress with our students and looking at the next activity that they would need to do to grow even further in those different areas. And last but certainly not least is that recognition, and recognizing the growth that students are making as they progress through the development and achievement of personalized goals. So though we are focusing on reading and writing and math, specifically with personalized goals in grades 1 to 9, we know that all students set goals and want to grow and reach their fullest potential. So tonight, Mike, if you'd like to switch to the next. So tonight is all about that last R in REORDER and the recognition, and embedding recognition and understanding growth and who we are. And that is what the focus is going to be for the remainder of the evening. And I invite you to think about the REORDER framework and what you've seen in your schools and those focus areas that we have that develop that REORDER culture and an environment where students can learn and reach their fullest potential. So now we're going to have a couple of videos. The first will be a video compilation from our superintendent group, recognizing a variety of different areas within Sun West and our students and the achievement they've made in many different areas. And the second is the connection to our facilities and recognizing the variety of different changes that we've made to our school buildings to connect to the REORDER framework and those flexible learning environments, and supporting our students to achieve their fullest potential and have a voice in their learning. So I will turn it over to Mike to start the videos, and I hope you enjoy it and enjoy an evening of recognition.
School sport is an essential part of a school's extracurricular program. It's valued for its commitment to amateurism, student-athlete welfare, gender equity, sportsmanship, and fair play within an ethical framework and overall athletic experience. School sport encourages an active, healthy lifestyle and the achievement of the social, personal, and citizenship goals of education. Throughout the pandemic, our dedicated coaches and student athletes continued to participate and meet the goals of athletics and education within the changing parameters. This year, a more complete return to sport, including return to inter-school competition, was a celebration unto itself, and it's highlighted by several key events. On November 19th and 20th, the SHSAA 1A Girls Provincial Volleyball Championship was hosted by Loreburn Central School and Davidson School. Commissioners for the event were Jill Long, Ashley Stamnes, and Jason Lowe. Hosting a provincial event is a huge undertaking and takes extensive planning and preparation, community support, and many dedicated workers. Both communities did an excellent job hosting the 10-team event. Their hard work created and ensured a wonderful experience for the teams, families, and fans in attendance. On March 5th, Outlook High School hosted the SHSA Regional Wrestling Championship. This is the first time a smaller rural community hosted this event that saw 16 rural communities attend with their provincial hopefuls. Over 100 male and female wrestlers competed in their various weight categories for a chance to represent their school at the upcoming SHSA Provincial Championship. The commissioner for this event was Lloyd Tull, and with limited time to prepare, Lloyd and his school and community pulled together, and the competition was run like a well-oiled machine. Hosting this event was a big accomplishment for the community and created another outstanding experience for the coaches, student athletes, families, and fans who participated in the regional event. To review the results of these competitions and others that our student athletes and coaches attended since the beginning of the school years, please visit the West Central District website at wcsaa.ca for this and other information about school sport. To end, I would like to celebrate the Beachy and Lucky Lake School joint senior boys volleyball team and their coach Becky Dubasaw for being awarded the prestigious Saskatchewan High School Athletics Association Sportsmanship Award. Through the sportsmanship program, the SHSA recognizes the positive aspects of participation at the provincial championship. The team earned this recognition because of their positive attitude on and off the court at the 1A Boys Provincial Championship held on November 26th and 27th at Fox Valley. Their friendly demeanor and exemplary sportsmanship towards their opponents and officials earned them this outstanding distinction. Congratulations to the team, and thank you to Coach Dubasaw for her commitment to providing educational athletics to her student athletes. You are all true role models and have made your communities, West Central District, and Sun West School Division proud.
There are a lot of things in Sun West schools that I'd like to celebrate, but tonight what I'd like to talk about is the Learning Commons or libraries and the librarians. So the Learning Commons have also been called libraries or resource centers. They're the learning hub in Sun West schools, and they're a critical component of student achievement. Sun West has a Learning Commons in all of our schools, and each one is staffed by a librarian. They play an important role in supporting our personalized electronically blended learning philosophy, and they're also an integral part of teaching and learning. Learning Commons in Sun West feature physical and virtual resources, and they're designed to support individual, small group, and large group learning opportunities. Sun West Learning Commons feature online collections, and in addition to promoting reading and literacy, they are places where students and teachers can come to find information, think, create, and talk about learning and new ideas. Learning Commons support the development of 21st century skills, for instance, critical and creative thinking, as students learn to access information from a variety of print and non-print resources. Librarians in the Sun West Learning Commons work with teachers to facilitate gathering resources to support achievement of curricular outcomes, promote literacy, incorporate technology into learning, and to help students turn information into knowledge. It's not uncommon to see our students reading for enjoyment or working on projects and problem-based learning experience when you visit these busy learning commons in our Sun West schools. Tonight I want to recognize that creativity and passion that librarians bring to their schools to support the learning process. Some of the great projects that have occurred in our division this year have been spearheaded by librarians, such as virtual author visits, book fairs, family literacy events, Lego Club, after-school reading programs, One Book, One School reading initiative, Willow Awards, which celebrate Canadian authors and involve students in voting in 3 age categories for their top choice of book, and the 1-2 Buckle My Shoe program, which has preschool parents and children coming into the school to learn about early literacy. These are a few of the many ways that librarians in our schools work to enrich the lives of students at school. One event we're looking forward to in the future is a division-wide literacy event where we will be hosting the virtual author Kelli George for K-6 students during Canadian Book Week, the first week in May. Thanks to our wonderful librarians for the magnificent work you do promoting research, literacy, and a love of learning and learning with students and families. Thanks for all you do.
Good evening. There have been a number of initiatives and projects over the last year that deserve some recognition in the area of well-being. First of all, Managing Your Mind workshop. The Sun West Wellness Committee and the Distance Learning Center organized a Managing Your Minds workshop for staff, students, and parents on March 23rd, 2021. Sue Mills, child and youth counselor, presented information on how to support anxiety with some DLC teachers showcasing anxiety-reducing strategies. Renee Jane, author of Superpowered, Transform Anxiety with Confidence and Courage, and one of our counselors' resources, spoke of her own experience and gave the participants some hope. Finally, a young student presented how well he worked with his teacher to create his own calming jar. This workshop was attended by many parents as well as Sun West classrooms. A second Managing Your Mind conference is scheduled for March 24th with a focus on the importance of nutrition for brain health and well-being. We've also had mental health first aid for adults who work with youth. In previous years, Sun West School Division has partnered with the Mental Health Commission of Canada to offer mental health first aid training for all of our school-based administrators. This year, we opened up the training for all staff. Recognition goes to 61 Sun West staff who have taken the training to help recognize and support the work of well-being in our schools. Sun West School Division would also like to recognize and thank Head and Heart Sask Landon Waite for his continued support of Sun West schools. He has presented at some school and parent sessions on suicide awareness. He has spoken about his own personal experiences and the importance of ending the stigma of mental health and reaching out if you or if anyone you know needs additional support. Landon's support to our schools and our child and youth counselors has been greatly appreciated. We've also had a Kindness Challenge campaign. Earlier this year, the Sun West Wellness Committee, with direction from Elena Gilmet from the Distance Learning Center, challenged Sun West schools to fill our schools with kindness to celebrate World Kindness Day. Schools were challenged to come up with creative ideas to showcase random acts of kindness. Entries were judged by the Sun West Wellness Committee, and the winning school won a free lunch. Recognition goes to all the schools who participated. Our top 3 winners were Keniston School, West Cliff Composite School, and Outlook Elementary School. These are only a few examples of recognition in the area of well-being. Sun West School Division works to embrace everyone's well-being through a variety of projects throughout the year. Together, we are building the Sun West culture that celebrates the importance of everyone, staff, students, and families. We are all in this together, and in the words of Jody Carrington, who visited the bigger Central School 2000 SCC this fall, we need to walk each other home.
Hi, I'm going to touch on 2 of my areas of responsibility here for the public meeting. The first one is looking at our technology department, and we continued our rollout of student devices across all of our Sun West schools this year, which means we're at a 1-to-1 point where every student across Sun West has access to a student device. That has helped us a lot in terms of this pandemic and dealing with the at-home learning piece, as schools and classrooms needed to transition home at times. In our other area that I wanted to highlight is the work of our online learning center in Keniston, and that is where this year, as you can imagine, has brought about a significant enrollment growth. So the school currently has about 1,600 full-time students, as well as delivering about 1,500 courses to students across various Sun West schools. With the temporary shift away from in-person events, this year we needed to focus more on continuing to deliver a diverse learning experience to our students through virtual events. This included a wide range of activities, such as a tour of the Raynor Dairy Barn, where students had an opportunity to make their own butter. Clinton Monchuk led us on a tour of his egg barn. Les Kroger presented on rural first responders and firefighters. The Managing Your Mind conference this year focused on nutrition and the role it plays in mental wellness. And other virtual events included read-alouds with various authors, Remembrance Day service, a trip to the Calgary Zoo, and many other events. Each of these events was made available to classrooms across Sun West, as well as our online families. We also launched a few new programs this year as well. So if you have students interested in a career in technology, we have our new IT Fundamentals 10 course, along with the new ones coming for grade 11 and 12 shortly. If your student has a passion for hockey, we have a new program called Becoming Player X that focuses on leadership and character development. A number of recognizable names from the hockey world are guest speakers in the course. In addition, I also want to highlight one of our students, and so we selected Logan Farrell, who's one of our students from Davidson. Logan's always been interested in fixing machinery on his family farm near Davidson. When he had the chance to learn more about the trade in high school and earn course credits at the same time, he jumped on it. Logan enrolled in the Agricultural Equipment Technician program in grade 11 and 12, and after he graduated in June, Young's Equipment offered him a full-time position and an excellent career opportunity in his home community. We're very proud to be part of those educational experiences for students and helping them land great career opportunities.
It has just been, I describe it as a godsend. It has just been amazing the way that we're able to use this space now in so many different ways that we weren't able to before, simply by knocking out one wall and putting in a set of glass doors.
I love the space just to work in because of the windows, and it makes a big difference when you're sitting inside all day to have the bright, the sunlight coming in all the time.
And we've just seen the kids, or I've seen the kids' conversations elevate in that space because they feel more like they're at home and talking with a friend rather than in a structured, rigid type of classroom.
Because everybody's using the space, staff and students, everybody sees each other, so they're much more comfortable with each other. It's people greet each other in the morning. It doesn't matter how old they are. It's good morning, you know. So it's actually created a really warm culture.
Really, what we're looking for is safe, bright, warm, welcoming. Our schools submit a 5-year facility plan, and every year they have an opportunity to update or change those plans. Facilities then takes those into consideration when planning future projects. The average age of facilities at Sun West is 58 years. Our buildings just weren't built for teaching the way that we want to teach and for learning the way that we want to learn. PeBL gives us an opportunity to change those so that those spaces are more student-centric and focused on student achievement. PeBL covers a wide variety of facility-related issues, right? We want things that are bright and warm and welcoming and inviting, and rooms that are flexible and serve more than one purpose, that allows us the opportunity to use it in more ways than just as a typical classroom. Like, it's tough. The PeBL philosophy is different in different rooms, different classes, different courses, and honoring that difference is what we're trying to do. So we're building our buildings to be better at handling that, better making them more flexible and adjustable to suit the needs of those teachers and those students.
Well, we've been really excited for the renovations that have been completed at Eston School. We've recently converted a science lab into the student hub, relocated our science lab, and updated our library. The library renovations have created a flexible learning environment for students and the staff to use for group work, presentations, and it's a center for our distance learning center. The student hub has created a welcoming gathering space for students in our school.
We use that room kind of as a motivation to be ahead and work hard, because in DLC, when you get your work done and you're ahead, you're allowed to go in that room, but it kind of helped me motivate to get my work done and stay ahead so I can keep going to that room.
It's improved my motivation to learn by just having my work done on time instead, having that freedom there to be able to go work there if you have your work done on time and things like that. And it makes you want to go there more because you have more freedom in that room instead of always being in the classroom with a teacher, kind of always being watched, but in there you feel a little bit more grown up.
This space has opened up a chance for kids who need a quiet space can go into the glassed-in quiet room. Kids who want a chance to sit around and collaborate and chat with each other while they're working have that larger space in the lounge to talk and discuss. We go in there as a whole group and we'll sit in a circle. My grade 10s, we have 11 of them, so we'll sit in a great big circle and have discussions there. They're a lot more comfortable in this space because of the comfy chairs and things like that. So gives us a chance to spread out, move around, get into an alternative space and just personalize that learning a little bit.
But what we've really noticed is that the students have taken responsibility for managing their behavior in that space. Well, the open space location and windows allows us to easily observe students engaging in learning. It also allows us to easily monitor off-task behavior. Students know that it's a privilege to work in this space. And from our perspective, giving students the opportunity to monitor their own behavior promotes growth, independence, and responsibility.
So the renovations in our school kind of have encompassed a very one of our biggest thoroughfares in the school. So it's kind of a hub that everybody now uses and always has used. It also has involved the bathrooms, the student bathrooms. So we have We used to have bathrooms, boys and girls on each side in the mudrooms, and now we have common bathrooms in our common space. As part of the renovation, we actually had a door installed that has now connected our pre-K entrance and classroom to the rest of the school in a much more sort of community-minded way. So our pre-Ks can just, instead of having to go all the way through the gym to come into the library or to go to the library, they can now go through that common space along with which is what everybody uses to go through the school. So yeah.
It looks better, and the bathrooms are a bit more private for all the students. It just makes the school look a bit better, and so
the space is an asset for our school because it is the center of our school. It's nice and open. It's a place for students to work in, but it also is a sense of gathering and community. All students in the school use it at some point through the day, and so they're always seeing students from grade kindergarten to grade 5 interacting with one another. And yeah, it also is nice and open, so staff members can be more aware of what students are doing and ensuring that students are having positive interactions with one another.
But then when they come in from recess, they all funnel through that space, and they've learned a lot about even just being polite, being patient, that sort of character building character building traits that we see. We also see that there are students that are using it. They're just now starting to use that as a workspace, which is what it was intended for in the first place. We've got classes that have used it as well, as far as art projects or everybody meeting in there for some kind of collaborative activity that they've planned within their class. We want to see that grow as restrictions have been lifted and people are building confidence. So really for the kids, it's a welcoming space, and it's one that they definitely are quite happy to be in and moving through and or working in when they have that opportunity.
Sure. So in Kenison School, we have put in sliding doors between our K1-2 rooms, our 3-4 and our 5-6 rooms, and then we took out our existing computer lab and put a sliding door between that room and a 7-8 homeroom. So we've basically just increased the classroom size for our multi-grades from K to 8, which has been nice for utilizing a larger space, utilizing the space in the school in general more with our multi-grade classrooms, and spreading our larger classes out into bigger classroom size.
We're so much more able to collaborate, have the students collaborating as they can go into smaller group settings, and we might have one group working sort of across the little space that we've got here, and a teacher can still be on the other side and still have sight lines to that student or group of students. Quiet little spaces for kids that just need quiet little spaces. A larger space if we want to have some group activities going on where we might have our high school students come and do something with our elementary kids, and now we've got this big space. We can open up the doors and everybody is together, or we can close them up and we can have smaller groups again. The teachers have been doing some co-teaching here as well, and that's worked out very, very, very well with the being able to open and close those doors in between the classrooms. Well, it's allowed us to really get into those flexible seating arrangements that kind of been at the forefront of teaching, in that we want students to be able to choose how they learn the best or where they learn the best. And so this new space has allowed us to do that.
Yeah, because we've had more furniture available, and we can see the faces in the 3-4 room, and it's just new faces, new furniture, and the quietness, and depends on what space you like. It's more room too, so that's good.
I think by having the larger room with bigger groups working in them helps the collaboration. Even from teacher to teacher, there's more opportunity to work cross-curricular across multi-grades, to work on larger projects, incorporate older students and younger students working together for modeling, anything like that. So teacher to teacher, student to student, I think it just increased the collaboration in Kenaston School.
So with the renovations, we combined 3 rooms to make one large DLC room. Had a bonus room added on as well, which can be opened up with a sliding door to create one large space. We ended up with an amazing space with the original tongue and groove ceilings, glass walls leading out into the hallway, 2 smaller rooms inside the DLC room for group work or individuals. There's different seating arrangements with tall tables and chairs, soft seating, regular tables and chairs as well. And with all the windows, the new flooring, paint, we've just got an unbelievable place for students to engage in their work.
Well, a lot of us take DLC now that it's in a bigger classroom. So if you're in DLC, a lot of times there'll be 1 or 2 people taking the same course as you. So you can talk it out and work with them, or you can work with kids who are working on something different. So you can be with your friends. And then there's also options to be in like a room by yourself. So if you need peace and quiet and no interruptions, it's really nice for that. And then if you aren't in DLC, a lot of kids will split off from what they're doing in class and come and work in the DLC, so they can also have that quiet privacy and just kind of work in their own space. But a lot of us really like having the big tables, because compared to a desk, you just have so much more space, and it just makes things way easier on us.
I think the students like being in this room, so they may be more likely to try a DLC class, like one that isn't offered at the school, just so they can work in this room. And just as a collaboration space for students, it's a really nice spot for kids to go. Like just designing collaboration spaces where they can come in and work, or the little cube areas where it's private, and it's really good that you may have a student who's not comfortable in a classroom. They may be more likely to come to school and attend, and just because they have that private spot that they're comfortable in. Just physically, the aesthetic of the senior wing has really improved with the big windows. The light that's going through it just kind of feels like the senior wing it's modern and it's fresh.
The space really seems to meet all the needs of both staff and students. We have DLC students, small groups, individuals, as well as staff working with students. The space simply lends itself to all different types of learning. Students have to earn the opportunity to use the space, and that creates a positive engagement for all students. When you walk by the room, you can see students engaged at all different levels, and that's something we're really proud of here.
All of our schools, that PeBL philosophy is different in each classroom, different in each school, because the needs are different in each classroom and in each school. So the idea to build spaces that are warm and welcoming and safe, and then we can work on making them more flexible so that we can incorporate all those needs into one area. That's it, right? Every day, my job here every day is to help students achieve greater success, and that's what we're doing every single day. And if that means renovating a building to provide those opportunities, then that is what we would do.
Try that again. So you had an opportunity earlier in the meeting to have the reorder framework revisited by Kelli. And when you think of the different pieces that have been recognized by our senior admin and by our facilities manager, I'd like you to think about when we get into those smaller groups with your school-like groups, just how is that reorder framework appearing within your school? That's my first comment. My second comment is, you'll have noticed from each of the videos, there were things that were recognized and highlighted, and the commonality amongst all of them was that it was for increased student achievement. And I would challenge all of the other 26 school divisions in the province to have a facilities manager that's so in tune with how what he does with facilities, way he helps things be planned, has the effect that it does on student achievement. We're not going to find that. And so, Michael Zumak, thank you for that commitment to the PeBL philosophy. Mike Fedyk, thank you for taking each of the different pieces and making it flow as it has. And thank you, as folks that are tuned in this evening. Over the last 2 years, you haven't had as much access to the schools as I'm sure you would have liked. The videos, the opportunities to see what's in place is just another opportunity to let you know that we're doing great things in Sun West, and we'll continue to do great things. And you're more than welcome to visit and see those things in action. If you have questions about the process for the facilities in particular, have that discussion with your school-based admin. School community councils are in tune with that as a part of your role. And if you would like a deeper understanding, please be sure to contact the school division office. There is a connection between the ideas in the school and what's approved by the board, but there's a process to get to that point so that the budget dollars can be committed in the ways that best achieve increased student achievement. At this point in time, I've mentioned school community councils. We'll have Vicki Moore, the superintendent of schools with SCCs in her portfolio, just summarizing some of the incredible work that has gone on by you within the public as a stakeholder, and some of the things that may need to be highlighted. Again, as a way of sparking perhaps some conversation when you get into the school-alike groups later, just to consider what might be the next step, the most beneficial move that might be something that you can do within your schools. So with that, we'll have just a few words summarizing the incredible work of the SCCs by Vicki Moore.
School community councils are an integral and valued group of parents and community volunteers who are tasked with the mandate of promoting the shared responsibility for learning and well-being of the children in their community and encouraging families and community members to engage in school life and school improvement. Last year, school community councils supported student learning and wellness from afar as they continued to help maintain parent and community connections to the school during a time when access to the school was limited. This year, as pandemic restrictions are eased, SCCs have found themselves back in their schools and continuing their work as key partners in student learning and parent and community engagement. This evening, we would like to highlight and celebrate some of the many activities and projects being led by our SCCs and their communities. Thank you to each of the SCCs who will be mentioned for graciously sharing the good work you're doing. Bigger Central School 2000 SCC participated in the school's Backpack to School night in August before school started. This event gave students and parents the chance to be together to bring school supplies to the school, find the child's classroom, and to meet the teacher before that first day of school. It was a great opportunity for the SCC to greet parents and students, and they were even able to recruit some new members that evening. The group also took part in a residential school survivor presentation hosted by their community library to deepen their understanding of reconciliation. They also hosted speakers from the Saskatoon Open Door Society to broaden their understanding of the challenges that are faced by immigrant families that have come to the community. Currently, the group is working on supporting the One Book, One School initiative. So far, this activity has students and families very excited about reading together and participating in home projects and school and classroom programs. Eaton School SCC led an activity that was enthusiastically received by their families called the Spartan Pumpkin Scavenger Hunt. Pumpkins were hidden around town with different letters painted on them. Families searched the town to find them and keep track of the letters. Once they found all the letters, they had to unscramble them to figure out the secret phrase, which happened to be "Go Spartans." All answers were put in a draw for 3 prizes. Families from all ages and all grades participated. The Eaton SCC reported a lot of positive feedback on this activity and would definitely do it again. The group also hosted a virtual bingo evening. 32 families signed up to play bingo and compete in a variety of competitions, including best costume. The winners won tasty prizes, and everyone had a fun evening spending family time together. To support Eaton School's academic goal, the SCC also planned a reading challenge week in February. Students were given a winter reading bingo card full of creative ideas to make reading fun. All students who returned the reading challenge cards participated in a pizza party lunch. Elrose Composite School SCC sponsored a movie weekend at the Drive-In Theatre in Kyle. The owner of the drive-in gave the SCC discounted tickets, allowing them to be able to provide an activity during a time when regular gatherings were not possible. It was a great family night at a very reasonable cost, and it was really nice to have staff, students, and families out together. The SCC also gave a $10 gift certificate to every student in K-12 to use at the Scholastic Book Fair to promote reading and help support the elementary reading goal in the School Learning Improvement Plan. This made the school book fair a huge success, with the profits being used to buy more books for the school library. Tennyson School SCC purchased toques for all the students and staff. The toques say "You Matter" on the back, and it supports the mental health and wellness work being done at the school. The toques are in the colors of the school color groups in the school, and they're proudly worn on Spirit Days. The SCC also provided a pizza lunch for the whole school in lieu of the traditional feast, which they weren't able to do this year. Kindersley Composite School SCC sponsored a special event known as the Principal's Breakfast. Staff nominated students who continually display a positive character within the school. From all the nominations, 3 to 4 students are chosen to have breakfast at Humpty's with Principal Hilbig. It's been a great opportunity to get to know students, and always exciting to let families know their student was recognized for demonstrating great character. Lucky Lake School SCC collaborated with the Wheatland Regional Library to host a storybook walk last year. It was very well attended by students of all ages. Teachers took their students on the walks, and families enjoyed it over the Easter break. The Lucky Lake SCC also hosted a back-to-school barbecue and meet the teacher evening. It was very well attended, and it was reported they went through more burgers than they ever have. Outlook Elementary School SCC did a large clothing drive and continued to work on playground renewal through their playground fundraising project. Westbury Elementary School SCC created and supported an at-home writing project in which children had to write something pertaining to what or who they love and appreciate. This project also supported the school parent engagement initiative of the 7 sacred teachings, with the February theme being "To know love is to know peace." The Westbury SCC live online home bingo is another event that went very well. It also supported the SCC Westbury Parent Engagement Initiative. The parents reported they enjoyed doing a school event in the comfort of their own home. Because of its popularity, they plan on doing another one later this month. Finally, with the financial support of Westbury's SCC and the Rotary Club of Kindersley, the school was able to add a fun piece of playground equipment for their younger students. Westcliff Composite School SCC created a mental health binder for all their families and supplied mental health wellness kits for all of their students over the past 2 years. The binders have business cards and many resources and information for mental health and well-being. The group also hosted an outdoor carnival on the last day of school before Christmas and led a fantastic Christmas goose chase scavenger hunt for their school families. There was great participation and prizes included a variety of games that families could play over the Christmas holidays. For Literacy Week, the SCC hosted story walks in their 3 main communities of Marengo, Flaxcombe, and Elstats. For Staff Appreciation Week, the Westcliff SCC decorated classroom doors and gave each staff member a special treat. They also purchased color-coded recess equipment so each classroom has a different color to keep track and use at recess for all their different activities. Our school community councils are valued partners in education. The ongoing work they do is important to the success and well-being of their students, family, and communities. As one of our SCC chairs described, we have a wonderful group of dedicated and creative, hardworking people who agree on the importance of holding together our students, staff, and community at large. We cannot express all of our appreciation for what they do. Tonight, we echo that sentiment and feel honored to have been able to celebrate the excellent work being carried out. Continued success with your work. Thank you for making a difference.
Thank you, Vicki, for providing that summary of many schools, SCC works, projects, successes over the last year. I'd like to, at this point in time, have a little bit of a math, not quiz, but just something to think about. We've got roughly 6,000 students within Sun West School Division. We have 180 days, roughly, of school each year. And each day, we have 5 hours and 15 minutes of instruction. When you break it down that way, with that many students over that many days and that many hours or minutes, the likelihood that we have of students achieving and being successful is quite astounding. And so oftentimes, when we're looking at things to recognize as achievement by our students, we think of that's pretty cool, but it doesn't really go much further than either the classroom or the school or community. At this point in time, I'm going to ask Mike Fedyk, who is in charge of the communications for the school division, to give each of you a few ideas of how you might be able to share those successes. Success breeds success. The more we can recognize, the more we can share those successes, the more likely it is that we're going to continue to see increased achievement in our students across the school division. Mike?
Hey folks, it's great to be here. Thanks for joining us. I'm not going to talk to you too much. I'm just kind of blown away by everything I've seen in terms of all the accomplishments that school community councils and our schools and our students have made. What is amazing even more, though, is that this is all just the tip of the iceberg. We don't even tell people a fraction of all the things that are going on in our school division. And what we want to do is start blowing our horn even harder, making sure that people know about it. Because as Randy said, the more we can tell people about it, the more we network, the more we let other people know what we're doing, helping share our ideas, we'll be even more successful. That may seem impossible. You're saying, how could we possibly be more successful? But I'm sure it is possible. So what's going to happen in the next week or so is I'm going to send via your school community councils a little, just a little document that talks about some of the things that you could do to let people know about what you are doing. And they'll include things like how to create an exciting video, how to take pictures, types of articles you could potentially write, and social media and website uses. Now, I think to one degree or another, most of you are already doing some of this, but you're not focused on it as something as a sort of an extra that you do. It's not that we want you to have more work, because you guys are already working like really, really hard, but we just want to help you find a way to let people know what you're doing. And we at the school division are going to do our best to make sure that people know about what you are doing. And if you don't want to wait, if you're sitting there, I'm inspired right now, you can send me something right now too. You don't have to wait till this document comes, but by all means, send us something. And what we're really hoping is that what we're eventually going to be able to do is create a project. Perhaps there'll be like a video that will incorporate all these things that I've just mentioned, that we can show people, that really showcases everything that's going on in school community councils in an exciting way. Because we know everything you're doing is super exciting, and we want more people to know about it, because the more that know about it, the stronger we're going to become as a network. So that's all I have to say. Thanks very much for your attention. And I'm going to turn you back to our MC, Randy.
Thank you, Mike. I'm going to pick up on one word that you said, and it's focus. It's very easy for us to focus on the 10%. We're trying to make the focus that 90, 95, maybe even 99% of the time when it is success, when it is achievement. There's 3 final thoughts that I'll have for this evening. We're looking at shortly after 8. There'll be opportunity for you to, from the website, join one of the school-like groups, but just 3 thoughts. The Sun West Board of Education is made up of community members from each of 9 separate subdivisions. The meeting agendas and minutes are posted on the division's website. You are welcome to attend meetings, and you're encouraged to be aware of the work of the board. The 9 board members make decisions based on a policy-based governance model, and they're responsible for a roughly $70 million budget. Accountability is one of the school division's guiding principles. You, as the public, or you as the electorate, are the ones who are charged with keeping the board accountable. 2, many of you will have already been through a strategic planning information gathering process. I'm here to let you know that we are in the final stages of that information gathering, and we'll begin the next steps of that at the board level beginning next week, as we share some of the information that's been provided, and we develop the process to make sure that we can take your information, your ideas, and put it into the next 3, 4, 5 year, whatever seems most appropriate for the board. So we do have a plan, educational plan, strategic plan moving forward. The third, in this last portion of the evening, you'll have an opportunity for each of you to participate in discussions with others from across the division. Links have been created for you to join a group on Teams. Now, for some of you, Teams is a platform that you might not be familiar with. And if it is, great. You won't be feeling stressed right now, but if it isn't, when you click on those links, you'll be given different options. And so the option that you'll want to choose, let me make sure I've got this right. Choose the continue on this browser option, so you don't need to download or install the actual software platform. As you go to your meetings, I'd like you to consider 2 things. 1, what can you do that fits with the REORDER framework at your level? How can you, as stakeholders within the education that goes on in your buildings, continue to enhance the learning of students? That's the first. The second is think of What is it that you would think might need to be highlighted, and what the best way for that to be highlighted on a wider scale within the school division? Mike has suggested, and there will be a document coming out shortly, but I think that at those meetings, you can begin to share what you're currently doing and what might more be in your purview, what you can do to make sure that you can continue to share. Folks, thank you for attending. We're one of very few school divisions, if any, within the province that have continued on this annual public meeting. Previously, it was a part of a mandate for boards to have, but since the end of the mandate, Sun West is one of the school divisions that believes so strongly in engagement with their communities that this has continued. So thank you for taking the time this evening, whether you're in the comfort of your own home or you're with your SCC, or perhaps you're in that hybrid model that you can do both at the same time. Your attendance here is hugely appreciated. It's a sign of your investment in your children, in your school, in your community. We cannot thank you enough. As a school division, we play one role. You have a role, as do the students, in the success of those students. Make your night great as you envision success for all with the mission of learning together. The links will be on your screen. I believe Mike has put them there as a part of the sidebar that'll be on the right side. I've really enjoyed this evening. At some point in time, I look forward to the fruits that'll be borne by the seeds that are planted tonight. Have a great evening, folks.